Hello everyone, and today we're going to be playing some Project Zomboid just because I really enjoy it. So, we're going to be doing a kind of dynamic series here where I'm going to start with the vanilla game, but I might add some mods as we go depending on what we need. Some quality of life stuff, that sort of thing. It's been a while since I've played the base game, so let's just get started with a basic survivor mode because Apocalypse is going to be just a little too slow for me. I have disabled all my mods, hopefully it worked. I'm going to be starting in Riverside. A lot of people say that Riverside sucks, but personally I think it's one of the best beginner maps and just a generally decent place to start. It may not be optimal for when you are like a pro Zomboid player, but I'm not a pro even though I have way too many hours in this game. I have a preset character here, or a preset class called the Unit. Because he's a slow healer, he's conspicuous, he's short-sighted, and he's a slow reader. But he's also a fast learner, he's fit, and he's strong. So basically, the exercise is mostly negated because the exercise just sucks and it takes so long, as in my experience. I think I've only gotten like one fitness point in my life playing this entire game. I think that Steam says I have like 800 hours. So yeah, I don't bother with that. And this gives me my exact thing. We have no profession, so this is what we're going to be doing. We're going to have a random character. This lady looks okay. Now, this is going to sound a little racist, but I usually like to play as a lighter-skinned character. But the reason is purely mechanical, because usually a lot of the clothes are darker, and it's easier to tell when there's holes on the clothes when you have a lighter-skinned person, because then it contrasts with the clothes better. Okay, so we're gonna be getting in here. We're gonna see hopefully hopefully have a decent spawn area. I know this town pretty well, so usually we can get to wherever I need to fairly easily. And of course it gave us the worst spawn, which is the most frequent as well, so I know exactly where to go in this town to get to my preferred starting safe house. So I usually just pick up everything, even though normally you don't want to do that. Oh wait, where the hell am I? I don't think I'm where I thought I was, but we're gonna try and like go over here. Wait, oh, am I in the wrong map? Did I pick Riverside? I wanted Rosewood. Hang on. Man, the main menu's taking longer to load than the actual game. Please! Any day now. It would have been faster just to exit out of the game at this point. Holy crap. I was about to say, it's actually been like 2 minutes, come on. Mods. And also, yeah, it has all these mods. I did not fucking want that. We're just gonna delete this. We'll try again. Back. Mods. Disable all. Maybe I need to press the accept button. Maybe that's it. Now it's reloading Lua. Now, let's try this again. Survival solo. I think I did select Riverside. Rosewood is what I wanted. So we're gonna be the Unit. And then we're also going to pick this guy. Just for the fun of it. I made him when I was playing with a friend, and so now I'm gonna use him in this because I feel like it. I'm gonna crack open a squirt. Yeah, I drink squirt. What about it? The game let me load in a little early, which is nice. Now the Romulade, I have to be kind of careful with food that makes you bored and such and unhappy because I installed mods that made the unhappiness system a little more logical and a little less bullshit because it's pretty brutal in this game. We also have a seemingly better start here. But yeah, it's pretty brutal and there's not a whole lot you can do to alleviate like unhappiness. Well, not unhappiness. Actually, yeah, unhappiness. The only way to alleviate unhappiness is basically alcohol. The only other way that I know is to... Oh no, one of my quality of life mods was the book finding one. Oh Jesus, this is gonna suck ass not having that. So that's probably gonna go on the list pretty quick in the next part. But yeah, the only other way that I know to alleviate unhappiness is, if I remember correctly, comic books, and then I think also porno magazines, but you don't find many of those. Those are actually quite rare. So we're gonna rip up our unnecessary clothing. So, and when I say unnecessary clothing, that's everything that has no protective qualities, which on this character I think I purposefully put a bunch. I thought I found a polo sweater that was protecting me. I guess I must have ripped it up, but that's unfortunate. So now I should have a bunch of, yeah, I have 17 ripped sheets, which probably way more than enough since I don't have any cure mods. I do have, when I normally play, some cure mods, because usually I die in kind of BS ways. And also every time my first injury is a, oh my god, are you kidding me? My first injury is always a bite, at least in the past few times. I haven't played in a while, so I can't say that, you know, for sure right now, but from what I remember, that's the reason why I installed the cure mods, is because I kept getting bitten the first time that I would get damaged, and I usually got damaged for, like, it was just unfair reasons. Like, it was just not, like, something was clipping wrong, something like that. It's hard for me to remember the reasons now, but it just stank. Also, this house is seeming pretty spooky right about now, so I'm trying to loot this place as fast as possible so I can get the hell out of here. I also don't have the durability mod, which is a nice durability display mod, which is a nice to have. Nothing useful in there. Let's get out of here. And I do recognize where I am now that I'm in the right map. So that purple building you can see on the mini-map there, that's a school, and there's this fenced-in area around there. We're just going to go along the outside of the fenced-in area, assuming that the outer area isn't more dangerous than the inner area. But luckily in this version of Project Zomboid, unlike the older versions, you can hop these big-ass fences. I think in the older versions you had to go around them all, or you had to break them. But usually didn't want to break them because you can mess with the zombies and shoot them through it and stuff and poke them, I think, with spears, which weren't in the old game, but now you can. Also, I picked up a digital watch, but I need to put it on my actual guy so that I can see the time and such. So it's almost 11. If we find a television, I should have stopped and turned on the television right when you spawn in, because I think you usually always spawn in at 6 o'clock, which then there is a TV show on, which I believe it's always the cooking channel, and then you get free experience for cooking without having to actually do it, which is really powerful in general, but also for the early game. Oh, that lady's got a freaking cowboy hat. Give. This is mine now. I am the captain. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. She's got a jacket, or this guy's got a jacket, but it's heavily damaged, so it's not very good. He does also have a hoodie, which I can put the hood up, and I think it gives me a little bit of head protection, but that would take off my hat, which is just unacceptable at this point. This ranching lady has some carrot seeds on her, so we took those. And I'm reading these annotated maps just in case, because when you do read them, they reveal the area on your actual map. But unfortunately, we just haven't found a map that correlates to Rosewood yet. Alright. So we're gonna need a screwdriver at some point here. There's this person behind me, but I'm trying to inventory manage right here. Get off me. Bitch. Don't fuck with me when I'm looking at my bags, bro. Just disrespectful. Where's your chivalry, bro? Fuck off. Okay, so we got 4 guys coming already, which can be a little bit much for a frying pan to deal with. This is why we're playing the combat one, because dealing with a lot of these zombies is just obnoxious in Apocalypse. It just takes forever, or you just never get to deal with them, and then they clump up, and then you have a horde that you have to deal with all the time, and it just stinks. That's why I play this version, this game mode. I had to sneeze while I'm fighting this lady. Her leather jacket is in primo condition, so we're gonna take that and wear that. I'm also gonna wear this polo neck sweater because I believe that it gives neck protection, which the hoodie does not. So we're not gonna worry about taking people out just to do it yet. We are, however, gonna whip out the knife and try and sneak up on this guy, but I think until we get to like sneaking level 2, we can't even actually do it most of the time. Yeah, see, he just shows up. He just turns around and he's like, oh, dude, there's a guy. I can smell him. He stinks. He's just a smelly ass fucking bitch. Okay, we're just gonna drop all this unnecessary stuff. Was gonna try and catch them while they were hopping over, but it did not work out that way. We're gonna take this pencil because that'll be useful for marking our map when we get the chance to do that. One important thing to know is that the stomp is actually more powerful than a lot of weapons most of the time. This person's not coming, so I'm just gonna keep moving along. Lots of duffel bags showing up, which is nice. The duffel bags used to be the best backpack in the game as far as I remember. At least, they were common enough that that was mainly what you used, but also back then you could wield a baseball bat with one hand and you could absolutely decimate people, and you'd hold a duffel bag in your offhand, and then you have a bunch of storage. That's going to be another mod that I'm going to add eventually, is the ability to use satchels with a backpack, because otherwise the only way you can have more storage is to use stupid ass fanny packs, which are just completely useless. They're not even fucking worth the weight that they exist as. This is not going to be a tense situation, but we're going to try and like sneak up on it. Just get the jump on them. Oh boy. Okay, so now we're in a bit of a little more stressful situation because we have literally no weapon. I've changed my mind. I've lied. We have a letter opener as our first and only line of defense. We could use the scissors or the screwdriver, but I just generally don't want to. And also, they're just, I don't know. We need something else besides these. So let's try and hop in this house real quick. Let's see if the back door is open. No. No alarm. Okay, cool. Let's go in here. Yeah, we'll just take the food. Normally, what I do is I will just take all of these perishable items and I'll just eat them whenever possible, because you just kind of have to be a bear and just store up for the winter, because the perishables are just gonna go bad. So you might as well get a little fat and then try and live off of that fat for a little bit once the electricity dies and such and the refrigerators don't work. So here's a comic book. That's nice to see. Electrician Volume 3. I'm also not used to the default book textures where they are all the same. There's a gun case here. We're going to take the gun out of it. We don't have a whole lot of room for it. We also missed the the survival show, or the carpentry show, I mean. That would be at noon, but I was not paying attention. I was just focusing on getting to where we need to be. Okay, carpentry level 2. We can't pick up anything. We have to get out of here. Well, actually, no, we need a weapon, which we still didn't actually find. That, or I just didn't. Okay, there's a rolling pin. I just looked over it because the rolling pin just generally sucks. So usually I look over it. Okay, this guy's choosing to go over here. Damn. Maybe the rolling pin's better than I thought. God damn! This guy's a menace. He knows how to clobber a bitch. Alright. So, the rolling pin appears to be a formidable weapon. It's not what I was expecting or remember, but oh well. We're getting close to the house that I like to stop in at and set up as my base. It's the one with the flamingos, which is right here. There's a small horde of zombies over here. Oh god, they're breaking my shit. So we gotta get them away from there. So we're gonna speed up time a little bit, let this guy come up forward so I don't have to fight them all with a rolling pin, because I don't think the rolling pin's that powerful. So now these guys can be taken, well, I was gonna say one by one, because usually they get when they start busting on a window or something, they just get locked on it, but every once in a while they're just like, no, I am gonna take a bite out of you. I was set on my task. Ooh, this is already open. Though it doesn't stop the alarm from happening if there would have been one, but there isn't. Okay, so now that we're here, we can start setting up and just organizing how we normally would. First things first is set up the TV to be on our educational channel. So Life and Living is what you want to be on. Oh, it's being really freaking lenient with it because we're almost 3 hours after the Woodcraft show, but it's still turned on for some reason, so we're just going to fast forward through that. And we're going to have him watch that, and we got a free level in carpentry, which is sick. And now it's playing a commercial, which we're not going to worry about watching. We got a hiking bag in here, which is going to replace our duffel bag and give us a little more room, which is also awesome. It's a great find because sometimes they can just really screw you with that stuff and just never give it to you. And now we're going to loot this duffel bag and move it somewhere else because it's going to be really annoying for when we're trying to store stuff. Next thing we're going to do is get this fresh uncooked soup into the fridge so that it doesn't go bad, hopefully. We're also going to go into the freezer and take out these things because they can be eaten without being cooked, but they're not good frozen, obviously. You don't want to eat them while they're frozen. The game does track that. I believe it adds unhappiness when you eat frozen foods. Now, even though the margarine and for some reason the pickles, they are found in fridges, since they don't have a fresh symbol next to them, they are a non-perishable, which is a bit weird, but, you know, I'll take it. You know, it's just more food for later. We also got a frying pan here for later when we need it. And then these two other things are, as far as I know, they say they're for cooking, but as far as I can tell, they're usually useless. So right now we're just picking up stuff and organizing it the way I like it. Luckily, we have the cans over here the way I like it already. This one canned tuna. Then we'll put the sardines in with them. They really like their canned fish here, whoever lived in this house before us. Drop the plate on the ground because we don't need that.
Disturbed in the house, we're dropping the plates.
Butter can come out because that's also non-perishable. And we gotta put this stuff that needs to be cooked into the freezer so that it can get frozen and we don't have to worry about it right now because I do not want to cook right now. It takes long enough to be annoying. We're also going to just eat a bunch of this stuff because, like I said, we're just going to basically just load up on all the calories we can get. Now the water I usually put in the sink here, in the sink one. Our water bottle here is not full, so we're going to fill up everything that can hold water and just get it ready for storage. And we're going to favorite items that we don't want to be dropped because we just want to make sure that we keep them on our person, just in case. Okay, we'll take the scissors. We'll also keep this empty notebook because then we can write down our objectives so that I can remember the next time that I come back and actually do stuff. Take the matches out of all of this. The pens aren't very helpful. And the vitamins we'll be able to keep. Should probably be coming through this place a little slower than I am, but oh well. We're gonna favorite medical supplies that are for emergencies. We'll leave these tweezers in here. Okay, nothing. There's a big hiking bag upstairs, which is freaking awesome, so that's gonna replace our normal hiking bag. And we're just overall in a pretty good position here. Okay, so we're gonna drop all of this stuff for now. This stuff can go on the ground. I'll probably take the guitar and use it as a weapon. I don't need to right now. I'll leave it there. So then right here, I normally like to put my guns and stuff, which I don't think I was able to actually pick up that other gun, was I? Oh, I did. Okay. So we'll put the guns here and then melee weapons here, except for we don't have a backlog of weapons. I gotta get downstairs because the show has started. This was usually a forging, I believe. Fishing this time. Just a general survival show. Oh, someone saw us through the window. Yeah, I'm gonna want to go over to the next door neighbors' houses and go and steal some sheets to go and put on these windows so that we don't have to deal with this situation all the time. Sounds like someone's in one of the garages. Looks like it's ours actually. Which it may be more beneficial for them to actually break down the door anyway, but usually we can get into these ones because they have the windows. We might have to break open we might actually have to break open the window to get in, but at least we can get in. That was a bit of a glitch. We saw through the roof because the roof doesn't actually exist on a lot of these things, or at least there's like different classifications for how they work. But like when you build up to your roof, Sometimes it's just not or maybe I just do it wrong. I've built up to my roof a few times, but I always go through the roof, so I think I might just be doing it wrong. Because I do recall seeing people like walk on their roofs before, because then you also have to build stuff on your roof to do some other features in the late game. So we found a few sheets, and we're just gonna add them to these windows. We're gonna add them to the front here, just make sure that nothing's gonna see us up front here. So now the whole front is concealed off. All we have to worry about is if something is in our backyard. Now over here is where I like to set my tools initially. So we're gonna put our extra pair of scissors in there, our screwdriver, meat cleaver, which is a nice weapon, but I want to save that one for cooking, which I usually never actually use that for cooking, so we'll see if it actually happens, but I just want it just in case. Let's make sure none of these have alarms on them, because these watches can have alarms and they will go off when they are not on your person. You can use them as distractions for zombies and stuff, but it usually does not matter too much. It might matter more in the apocalypse one. This is where I usually put my building materials for the beginning when I find them. Oh, that's right, there's also these sodas. Sodas cure unhappiness as well, so at least you don't have to do alcohol then. But yeah, it's there's for some reason I recall, it wasn't boredom, because boredom is easy to cure for the most part, but unhappiness, I think once you get stuck with a lot of unhappiness, especially when you try and like consume and use up some of these crappier foods like the margarine. Well, the margarine's good because it has a lot of calories, but if you're eating a decent bit of the worse off foods, it just doesn't work, you know, because then you just are stuck in a cycle of depression, which I guess can be, you know, somewhat realistic, but I don't know. I don't know what else to say about that, but from a game standpoint, there's not a whole lot you can do about it. Though the game is trying to prove me wrong, because I think that there's a lot more unhappiness in the game than there is cures for it, which I think was my main issue. 'Cause in this book, oh, they must have changed. Did they? I think they must have changed this, because I remember these regular books only curing boredom and stress, not unhappiness. That makes these books way more useful. Huh. Well, I guess I have to start picking those up now. They might have changed it because of how difficult it was to deal with the stress, in-game and in real life. Though I know for me personally, reading would not make me any happier. At least majority of the time. I forgot to set an alarm on my watch, but we woke up before we actually needed to anyway, which is surprising. I like to do it a few minutes before 6 o'clock. Let's actually set the alarm a little bit later. We'll just set it to 5:50. So we have a couple hours here before, we have 3 hours before the program starts. Our exercise stats are already high, so normally I would start exercising in the morning, but since I started using the unit class, for the most part you don't need it, but we'll do 30 minutes of squats, and we'll just sit here and do some exercise and rest while we wait. Though after your first day in the world, it seems like your guy's energy just gets absolutely destroyed. So being up this early is not very good for our dude. He's also getting bored, but the show will start sometime soon here, so that'll help with that. So we're just going to try and up our fitness as much as we can, because the fitness is also supposed to help with, what's it called? Oh, got to turn off my alarm. The alarm is also, dang, what was I saying? The fitness also is supposed to help with your guy's total energy, which is, it just always seems low to me. Your guy gets tired so fast normally, but also he is doing a lot of exercise. But either way, it's a problem. We're going to equip one of these closed umbrellas in both hands, and we get to use it as a spear, which spears are one of the best classes, or best class of weapon in the game, as far as I'm concerned. It's just that all of the spears, well, majority of them, are just super weak, at least the attainable ones. You can find pitchforks which get used as spears, but I think they last a little longer, but I rarely ever see them, and I also don't go out of the city much because I don't get to last that long. So there are two places that I can think of to go first. The first place that I like to try and clear a path to is the school, which is just down the road this way. The reason I do that is because there's a lot of books in the school library, and there is there's a lot of books in the school library, and then there's also the cafeteria, which has a lot of perishable food, which will go bad very quickly. So I wanted to get down there and take advantage of that as soon as possible. The other place is up. I mean, I think it's north, but up north there is, maybe it's to the west. Oh god. So yeah, that's spears. We're not getting to take advantage of the spear function of that very much. Let's just pull out the rolling pin. There is a grocery store that is up the street, which also has a lot of just open fruits and vegetables. So you want to go up there and try and grab those before they spoil right off the bat, because they are unrefrigerated. They're just kept out in the normal displays, like, you know, kind of like a real a real supermarket, which is what they're going for. Okay, now we're gonna loot all these guys because sometimes they have good stuff. And if I had the cure, there's two cure mods that I use, and they each do things differently. This guy has a bulletproof vest, which is nice, but it's damaged and you cannot repair it, which is unfortunate. But also that's kind of, I think that's that's also realistic, because that's what they say about real bulletproof vests, is once they have been shot, they are no longer rated to save your life. They are considered literally waste, and you should not be wearing it ever again. I don't know if you can recycle bulletproof vests. You certainly can't in this game, but I don't know if you can in real life. Come on. So normally with a spear, if you back off and their zombies are on their own, you can do that. You can insta-kill them with just one long poke. And it's kind of, I don't know the exact parameters that it requires to make the poke happen. I don't know if there's any tells on the character of how it's going to happen, because the sneak attack backstab with knives and stuff is pretty similar to that attack, except for there's some tells and obvious parameters to make that happen. On the backstab, the sneak attack, first of all, you need to be sneaking, and you need to be sneaking up behind someone, and usually it helps if they're not moving. And then once you get close enough, the character will raise their other hand when they are ready to do the animation and do the insta-kill. I never really hold on to bags in my other hand, so I don't know if that blocks the tell for when they're ready to perform the insta-kill, but yeah, I don't know. And then, yeah, I just am completely unsure on if there is a tell for getting the slow stab to happen with spears. Do magazines do anything? What do they do? They only do boredom and stress reduction. Okay, interesting. And here's another book, so we're going to take that, because the unhappiness is actually going to be really powerful, I believe, on that. It also was just a lot slower, I think, at doing the stress. Maybe that's why I thought they were useless, is because they just take so long, because you actually have to sit there and read the thing. I don't know how long they are, but yeah, I don't know. Okay, let's check out the situation in the parking lot here. It's not looking too bad yet. It looks like there's only 3 over here so far. Okay, got the stab on her. Got the stab on her. Must have been a bunch of moms picking up their kids. But no, they're zombies. Every one of them dead. Unfortunate. Alright, let's see. Alright, cool. Garbage bag, which are going to be really powerful for DIY crafting before. I'm going to try and loot the trunks. That one was locked, but luckily the actual car was unlocked. So then we get to go in, unlock the trunk, and go and get whatever's inside anyway. I just found a tire pump, which is, I've never actually used a tire pump before in this game. Never had opportunity. This car looks like it's gonna be in pristine condition, so it's probably gonna be locked. Yep. If a car's ever in like actually good condition, it's basically always locked unless you get lucky and find stuff. Sometimes when you do the foraging like this, there was one time where I accidentally found a car key near the car, and you can do that I think on any of them. Is this a car key? I literally found the car key as I was talking about it, and it's for a Cavalier Dart, which I don't know which one is that, but I assume it's this one. I don't have the key for this. Is it actually for this one? Okay, got the stab on him, and I wasn't even trying for that one. Because as far as I can tell, you just have to be like really ready to stab them. You have to be like ready to go. If you hold the button, sometimes it helps try and like enforce the animation so that it actually does it instead of just hitting them normally. Is this thing the dart? Bro. Oh. Don't even mess with me right now. Does it have gas? It Wait, it actually has like a full tank of gas too? Holy crap. This is a huge find other than it being a tiny car. I could get this home. For now, I'm just gonna go on my map and mark this. I usually mark them. Oh, that's a... I thought I had expanded symbols. But they all look the same to me, but there's more from what I remember. Anyway, I marked them with boats, and also you gotta press this S symbol on the minimap to make your drawings show up on the minimap. I heard I saw a text news article. I didn't actually read it, but I think that the devs are finally taking into consideration actually putting in AI survivors again. Back when the game was super new, they had AI survivors, but eventually they took them out for one reason or another. I think they were saying that they were like not up to par or something like that. And so people have always been asking for years, when are they going to bring it back? And they always keep putting it off because I think that they are just putting a lot of pressure on themselves to get them done right. And I know they implemented I think in a snapshot or something like that, one of their beta versions, they implemented actual animal AI. I don't know if they pushed that into a major update that I am playing now. I don't know, but I know that that's something that they're working on. So that means that they, probably have some baseline for AI, I guess, in the works. But, obviously people are going to be much more complex than a fucking cow out in a frickin' field. So yeah, that's pretty cool. And of course, it's probably just some news site fighting tooth and nail to be relevant. I was gonna sneak up on this guy, but I don't think I have any sneaking weapons. Any knives, which he had one in his back, which is one of the main reasons why I really wanted to get him. Let's not loot any of that stuff. We're already mostly full in our backpack, but we came over here for the food. Now, as you can see, my guy, it's only noon and he's already drowsy. So, yeah, managing the stamina is something that I do not understand in this game for the most part. So over here's gonna be a bunch of food. Give me some of that za, dude. Yeah, za! Now I'm dying of thirst, so I need to go and make sure I drink something sometime soon here. There's a sink right over there, so we're gonna be going and grabbing a sip from that. Just want to make sure I grab this stuff. It's vegetable oil in there. Marinara. Let's drink out of here. Eating and drinking also affects your stamina and such. I know that drinking affects your body temperature, which they have improved. I started watching Mathis games again. I started watching his old Zomboid stuff because I just felt like it. Even though now the channel is called the Chilluminati Podcast because that's what he's focused on. He's not doing the gaming stuff anymore, which is a shame, but I understand why he moved over. He played some of the newer version that looks like this, but he was doing this like storytelling thing that I wasn't very into. I just wanted him to play the damn game. So I went back and I think he's playing one of the more recent updates that was before we got the animation update, where we got these better 3D models and stuff like that, and all of these other animations and stuff. So yeah, there's things are a lot different in that version. And it's reminding me of all these little things that I completely forgot about, like the skill system. You used to have, first of all, you have to level up each individual thing. But then you would also have an overall skill bar, where you would get skill points. And then once you got the skills in the actual area you wanted to level up, then you had to put the skill point in the skill tree to actually get the effect. And this one, you just level it up and you just get it. Which it probably makes more sense, you know, from a real life standpoint. The other way was just a little more gamey. Also this, oh my guy is freaking completely, he's not fit for fighting right now, so we gotta back off from the situation and try and get in a house or something. It looks like it might be oh fucking Christ. I was about to say it might be a fruitful situation, but it's not looking like it. We also just missed the the woodworking show again. Oh, you son of a bitch. Okay, so we're in a bad situation right now. Do it, you idiot! I'm just fucking few paces too far. Okay, so now we're gonna try and sprint upstairs, and hopefully there's nothing upstairs. Okay, cool. Doesn't mean we're on the clear. Okay, we're in the clear. Alright, let's rest. We gotta sit on the ground. Now, our guy is ridiculously tired, which means that our exertion... Oh, I thought it wasn't even going to be able to go away. Since he is ridiculously tired, he's probably going to do less damage, which is going to be really bad since we haven't found a decent weapon yet. I do believe I kept the frying pan on me, didn't I? Let me eat some of this food. This is a really bad place to do it. There was someone... I guess I missed a zombie when I came sprinting through. When you're ridiculously tired like this, it's better just to stomp them, because you're just going to be wasting durability on your tool, on your weapon, because... how many hits it's just going to take to kill them. I'm just going to try and get to my house without attracting too much attention. So let's actually go in the backyards, but the backyards might be more infested than the front yard, actually. Because a lot of times, yeah, things just stay in the backyards and they don't come forward. And so you just never really deal with them until you stroll up upon them or you make too much noise one time. Or something, you know, else draws them because of one of the random noise events that happens in the game. But now I don't know where the other guy up front here went, so I'm just hoping I can stroll into my house and hopefully just kind of put my shit away and have a nice, quiet evening. Okay, so that leather jacket is in good condition. I will also pick up ones in bad condition because the leather strips, you can cut them down for the leather strips, which then you can reinforce with the tailoring skills. Okay, is there anything I can put in here? Let's see about eating some more of this perishable stuff. Okay, let's get this stuff in the fridge. In the beginning, it can be quite easy to get lots of food because there is just so much easily available, but it gets a little bit more difficult once the power goes off, because then you don't have the refrigerated stuff being very edible anymore until you get to like level 8 of cooking or something like that, because then I think it bumps it up a couple levels to be edible again, even when it's rotten. I don't know how it works, but it's a nice to have. However, gathering up uncooked food, even once it's rotten, is still useful because you can still cook the rotten food and thus upgrade your cooking skill. This bloody stuff, we want to wash the bloody clothing if we're going, especially if we're going to wear it, but these will also just clean the strips. We haven't washed ourselves at all, actually, so we're just gonna take a long bath here in the sink. Okay, I think we only have the mug to fill, so we'll fill that up. And then there's this glitch that happens where it just doesn't fill the mug, and I don't know what causes it. There's another gunshot. For the most part, I'm not too concerned about that stuff because it just doesn't really do a whole lot, at least as far as I've seen. I know that it is supposed to get the zombies moving around and make sure that you're never safe, but for the most part, I don't ever care. Now, one thing is that I'm expecting to die somewhat soon on, which will probably be better because then I'm probably going to do a custom game at some point here, because I'm also going to put the kitchen knife in there. going to put any nicer knives in here so that they can be used to sharpen spears when we get around to that, which also I think the meat cleaver can be used for as well. But I'm expecting to die pretty soon on. I'm probably also going to go to a custom game after this life, because in this normal mode, it's constantly spawning zombies. So to me, that just kind of ruins the sense of any accomplishment, because there's just always zombies. However, there is upsides to always having zombies. One is that it keeps it interesting gameplay-wise. Two is that there's always an influx of clothing being brought into your game, which means you can level up your tailoring and also get tailoring supplies a lot easier. And the other thing is that it levels up your combat skills. It always makes sure that you're always having, you know, some of those skills being practiced on and being leveled up for when it really matters. But yeah, to me, I want to clear out an area, and then I want to be able to, you know, roll through there without having to worry about there being another horde the next day or the next 3 days, because I think that's how long it takes for it to spawn a few zombies after you have not been there for 3 days. I think that's roughly how long it takes in this mode. So we're just gonna finish up putting our shit away, and then we will be going to bed. We have to read this map, and we actually can view that on our map if we, let me get in a safe area just in case, so nothing should see us. So if we zoom way out, we can actually see these other towns that we have discovered. I think that was Louisville right there. It's actually really close. Well, really close is a overstatement. If I remember correctly, this is like a very highly populated area, which would make sense because of how close together these houses are. This looks like one of the complexes they build in Arizona. Freaking hate those things. Over here, I think this was Muldrow, maybe? I don't know what this is, but that place is absolutely huge. I've never made it out of the town, because by the time that I like get the supplies ready to leave my hometown here, I just get bored with the game, because it just takes a fairly long time, especially once you've grinded and leveled up your skills to be confident enough to be able to get out of the town and not have stuff break down. Now, I probably over-prepared if I were to guess, because I've never been able to transfer between towns. But yeah, there's a lot of stuff that I try to set up before I leave, and obviously that has been my downfall, actually, because then it just ends up never happening because I get bored and I forget what I'm doing, and I'm like, if you forget something, it's gonna be probably pretty punishing. So that's why I always I'm afraid of it. And so we're gonna go to sleep, and that will be the end of this part.